So I want to start with the State of the Union address. I listened to it last night, and I thought that the speech was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good, and I believe that Joe Biden did a good job bragging about his accomplishments so far as president, and he has a couple. I mean, some people may disagree, but I think Joe Biden gets a bad rep when it comes to the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act, his infrastructure spending, his COVID relief. I think that, and he obviously has flaws. I mean, the Afghanistan pullout was definitely a stain on his presidency, but I don't think anyone really would have done that well, because it's a difficult situation. He inherited a bad situation. The Afghanistan war itself was a mistake, and so there's not a lot of good things you can do. There's not a lot of good ways to get out of a war that was started off of a false premise. I mean, we've been there for 20 years. We've been there for 20 years, and I mean, when was the correct time to pull out? I don't think it would have made a difference if it was tomorrow or next year, or like spending another 20 years there. So I think that Joe Biden, did the best he could have done to get out of Afghanistan. But anyway, Joe Biden did a good job of bragging about his accomplishments, the jobs that he's brought back from the previous administration and from the pandemic. The CHIPS Act, which is going to bring back semiconductor chip manufacturing in the U.S., which is a huge win. And it's going to tie into the U.S. trade deficit, which I'm going to talk about later. The fact that the U.S. went from exporting or making around 60% of the world's semiconductor chips and going all the way down to 10% is a tragedy. And we rely on semiconductor chips. I mean, it's the backbone of a lot of the technology that we use in our day-to-day lives. And so the fact that Joe Biden is now allowing us to manufacture such an essential product within our own borders, and then exporting it to other countries, just so that we're not relying on China for such an essential good, is really important. And I'm really glad that the CHIPS Act was passed bipartisanly too. And some of the other things Biden has done, the Inflation Reduction Act, allowing Medicare to negotiate some drug prices. It's not perfect, but it's a win. It's better than nothing. And the fact that he got insulin being able to be negotiated is a huge win too. To produce insulin is maybe $10, $13 a vial in total. And Big Pharma charges hundreds of dollars for it. And that is preying on the most vulnerable people in our society, literally people with diabetes. And, that's just one of the most inhumane and disgusting things that our country tolerates. And it just goes to show, I mean, not everything can be privatized. Not everything can be at the behest of the market, because we see with Big Pharma, we see with utilities, we see with college, it doesn't work. And some things are just better in the hands of the government. We are the only country, we're the only developed nation in the world that does not have a universal healthcare system. We have people who get bankrupt because of medical debt. That is not a thing. That doesn't happen in other countries. And we allow people to die because they could not afford the treatment that they needed, which is insane. And all to get, a couple thousand more dollars to these big CEOs and Big Pharma out of the billions of dollars that they make per year. That's the trade-off we're gonna make. Like, people dying and going bankrupt so that one corporation can make tons and tons of money. And I think that's disgusting. And it's not even big pharma, it's college. We need to have tuition-free public college so that people can make the choice, make a true choice, if they want to go to college or not. Because there's a lot of smart people who, are anxious. They don't want to get themselves in a ridiculous amount of student debt. And I believe that the only factor in whether or not someone goes to college is their academics. And it goes a lot farther too than just the price of college too. We also need to make our public schools more equal. Our public schools right now, there's a lot of places in a lot of poor neighborhoods where our schools are underfunded and people don't have equality of opportunity. That's one of the core tenets of my beliefs is equality of opportunity. Your zip code, okay, should not define you as a person. The rich kid living in Beverly Hills should have just the exact same opportunity as the same kid living in the South Side of Chicago. And that's one of the most important things that a country should have. We don't have that. We have schools paid for by property taxes. If you're wealthier, you're gonna be better off at the start. And I think that's wrong. But going back to Joe Biden in his State of the Union speech, I think he did a good job. And my favorite part about it was when he was talking about Social Security and Medicare being off the books. And he called out Republicans. He said there are Republicans who are proposing that we cut Social Security and Medicaid in order to pay for our debt. And that's austerity. That would be egregious. That would be, millions of seniors not only getting their health care taken away, but their payments that they require for their retirement, So that would upend the lives of so many people. And and Republicans know that. Both Republicans and Democrats know that, because Republicans on the other side threw a fit, heckling Joe Biden during a State of the Union speech, calling him a liar. And I think Joe Biden called them out perfectly and, got a referendum on Social Security and Medicaid being off the table. So I think that was a great job by him. And I think it shows, because if you look at the election betting odds here, Joe Biden has gotten a boost. He's been increasing in the betting odds for the presidency for 2024 against Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, who I'm going to talk about later. But if I can just pull up the odds for last week, Joe Biden, ever since his speech around February 7th, around 9 p.m., he's been going up. He got a couple point boost against Ron DeSantis, and DeSantis got a bit of a significant drop here. And that's good. That's good. I don't want Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis having a shot at the presidency. And I think they're gonna be really bad for the country. And so, yeah, I'm glad that Joe Biden made this speech. And so